90% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move. Whatever click you choose, you better stay.
All right, what's cracking, y'all? Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy 16 to Life, man. And today, I got a very special guest in the house with me, OG Bam from Compton, man. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm life. Life is good, man. I'm enjoying life, brother.
It is definitely a pleasure to have you on my show, man.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So, for those who may not know about you, man, why don't you give us a little bit of information about yourself? Tell us where you from, where you grew up, and that type of stuff.
Yeah, I'm OG Bam from Compton Front Hood, man. I grew up, born on the east side on Low Bottoms in L.A., moved to Compton when I was a kid. Really raised in Front Hood all my life. Started gang banging in 1971. I joined my hood in 1971. In and out of jail all my life since the age of 12. This is the longest I've ever been on the streets, man, going on 5 years. This year be 5 years I'll be out. When I first went to Tracy had a lot of black CEOs, females out of Stockton. They used to come in our cell, 16 like, you think I'm lying on me, and watch the soap operas with us, take their shoes off and rub their feet. It was a CEO named Miss Heron. We used to call her Mama C because of her last name was Heron,
right?
Because of the big homie. And she loved the Crips. I told her one day I seen her nipples. I said, damn, Miss Heron, you sexy as well. She said, I wish I could put you in my bro and take you home with me. You understand what I'm saying? It was certain black CEOs gave us a lot of respect when I first went to prison. Because every prison didn't have a lot of black CEOs. But the black CEOs respected brothers that conducted their business and handled their business. You think they like seeing a Mexican take off on a brother and don't nobody do nothing? They respected us handling our business.
Right. And
they respected us handling our business.
Let me ask you, you mentioned that you was in New Folsom. Did you get caught up in that big riot they had?
In 96?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I was on Big Yard. I got whacked on the arm in that riot. I was coming off family business day that riot happened, man.
So to your understanding, what was the riot about? And describe it a little bit.
A Mexican owed the Crips some money. The Crips slapped the Mexican. Shouldn't have did that. Should have busted on him and started it right then. He slapped the Mexican. Next day, they came out. They came straight to the 8-block wall, was the Crip wall, and took off. I had just came off the family business. I got my laundry sack over me like this. I'm in a hurry to get in my cell because I got a gang of contraband. I'm going to sell my weed. You understand what I'm saying? But I felt the tension. It was a vibe. And it just went up. It went up, man. A Mexican got killed in that riot. Police killed the Mexican. A lot of brothers got shot too. And this the cold part. I ain't saying this because I'm a brother. We smashed them, even though they the ones started the riot. We end up on the winning end of the riot.
And that's what I was going to ask you because, you know, a lot of times on a lot of these YouTube channels that Hispanics have, I see where they always make it seem like the brothers always get the short end of the stick. Now, you know, when riots happen, sometimes Hispanics lose, sometimes blacks lose, but the majority of the time that I've seen these channels talking about, the blacks always take the loss. So you said to start off this riot, a black slapped a Hispanic, a Southsider?
Yeah. Mexican named Weddle. Watch this. Weddle owed me some money one time, man. Took him about 2 months to pay me, right? I got experience with that. I said I'd never sell another Mexican no dope, right? And the Crip dude that started the war, that started the riot, only did that because his car got beat. He wasn't even trying to get in like that at first. He created some shit that he shouldn't have created. right? And when the riot happened, it happened. But let me share this with you, man. Ain't nowhere in CDC history that you ever see on any documentary of California prison see a white brother, a brother, waving a white flag doing this saying we surrender. Did nobody win the war, man? A few people that won the battle. They didn't win a couple of battles. We didn't win a couple of battles. Did nobody win the war? Watch this. Hispanics press on their own people. They don't press on us. This is what people need to understand. When they initiate the riot, the element of surprise is what catch people off guard. So it make them look like they smashing us. But watch this. If I dope fiend you and don't knock you out when I dope fiend you 16 in life, you might get the ups on me. Because you got that adrenaline to want to save your life. So you got more adrenaline than me. You understand what I'm saying? So you're going to be on me. And that's what people don't see. They only see the beginning. They don't see the end of that ride. By the time they show the end of the ride in prison, only thing they showing is how the ambulance is picking people up.
Right.
Have they smashed us? No, I ain't going to even give them that. Did they give us funk? Yeah, they gave us funk, but we gave it right back to them. But they never smashed us in prison. From a person from the outside looking in, they might have a different opinion. But I was in the inside looking in. I was a participant in riots. No, they ain't smashed us, man.
And
Hispanics run Hispanics in prison. They don't, BGFs don't run Crips. BGFs run BGFs. Crips don't run Bloods. Crips run Crips. Bloods don't run Crips. Bloods run Bloods. And that's what it is. Hispanics did more to each other than they did to anybody else in prison. Look at the PC yard. What color of people you see on the PC yard? It's more Hispanics and white boys on the S and Y yards than brothers. That should tell you what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? Them dudes, I don't respect nobody, man, that debrief. You part of an organization and suddenly now your name come up in the hat because you did something fucked up. You want to PC up and tell on everybody. Like the dude boxer that wrote the Black Hand book, Boxer Myths. I've been knowing boxers since Tracy and Old Folsom. Boxer was a soldier, but he went to the other side, man. I don't respect him doing that. I ain't see that coming. He was a soldier.
So how did you happen to know Boxer?
Me and Boxer was in Tracy together, man. Watch this. A lot of Hispanics I grew up with going through juvenile hall with was also in prison with me. And 85% of the ones I knew from juvenile hall, when they was in prison, we was in prison, they was in it. I remember one time I was in Tehachapi. And Tehachapi used to search you going to the yard and search you coming back in. You got to strip down to go back in. And some ex-A's Hispanic inmates are staring at me. And my little homie Trey from Kelly, like, man, the Mexicans looking at you. And one of them named was Sergio. Sergio was like, hey, what's up, Bam? I'm like, Sergio? He was in. He had just got out on an internment shoot. Him and Joker from Clathone had the keys in Tehachapi. I had me and Whiskey from Santana Wrestling, peace, my homie Turtle, little brother. We had the keys for us to Compton corridor. So it opened up a line of communication. You understand what I'm saying? It opened up a line of communication on how to solve problems, how not to have problems. You understand what I'm saying?
And
a lot of people believe. Don't.
I got a question for you because earlier you had mentioned that a Hispanic had owed you some money before, and the riot happened because a Hispanic owed another black. Now, a lot of times on YouTube, a lot of these people believe that even though that the Hispanics are not supposed to do business with the blacks, they always do business with the blacks. Well, not always. You have a lot of them who will do business with the blacks.
Hey, watch this, man. You just do a good one at me too, man. I like this, man. I like this interview too, man. Shouts out to 16 to Life channel, y'all. Check this out, man. You get these Hispanics and these white boys on TikTok and on social media lying. Majority of them dudes come get dope from us. Them dudes buy dope from us. You go to any prison, it's Salinas Valley especially, it's more Hispanic police and everything. But whatever yard you go to, the people with the biggest sacks and all the phones, it's the black inmates. So who else they gonna mess with to get the dope and get the phones? You got to mess with us. You got to mess with us. Now, do they supposed to get dope from us? No. Should we sell them dope? No. Watch this. When I got that experience, and them folks, old Folsom, new Folsom with what taking all day to pay me, I stopped selling Mexicans dope. And they wasn't even saying they didn't supposed to get dope from us at the time. I stopped selling them dope. I'd rather sell dope from somebody I know gonna pay me. And you'll never know, it's not guaranteed to get paid till you get paid. I used to sell weed in prison. As I was in the pen, I had a weed sack. I might have 10 dudes, man. 5 Crips, 8 Crips, and 2 Bloods. But I always wanted to make sure these dudes' money was reliable. They wasn't coming with the scandal. I would never let nobody go past a $50 debt with me.
Right.
So when I see dudes that sell dope to Mexicans, and that Mexican, they know this Mexican, you can't go to this Mexican and do nothing. These Mexicans ain't gonna just let you do nothing to their people. Unlike brothers will let something happen to another brother and accept it. Oh, he was in the wrong, man. Why we gonna get caught up to it because in the wrong? See, the Mexicans say this, right or wrong, if you do something to our people, we gonna support our people. We gonna get his ass. If he's wrong, we gonna get him after everything is said and done. Brothers shouldn't sell them drugs, especially when you can't do nothing to them to get it. And prison changed so much, man. I've seen a Mexican get a brother from Memphis for $1,800. Go in the building and say, hey, man, I'm going here to get the phone and come back and say, oh, man, police took the phone. I told that dude from Memphis, man, stab this motherfucker. Now I'm ready for the ride. Go stab him and get your $1,800.
Right.
You got these henpecked Negroes that had a sack, Crips and Bloods and non-affiliated had a sack. They don't want to go on lockdown, lose their phones and their drugs. They'd rather pay the brother for it won't be no problems. Later on, the Mexicans got on the Mexican for something else he did. You understand what I'm saying? Because their karma gonna come back and bite you on your ass when you do some scandalous shit in the pen.
Right. So let me ask you this, right? Because earlier you had mentioned a couple Hispanics that you had relationships and rapport with. So you personally, did you ever have any problems personally against Hispanics, or was that just sometimes, you know, if we get into it, is that sometimes just the business of prison?
It's business, man. I never had a personal problem. It just be business. I didn't watch this, man. I don't know who you had parole with, but when a person get released from prison, he in the holding tank with Mexicans. And the Hispanic dude and you become real tight the day y'all getting released. For some reason, everybody getting released become real tight, holding the conversation, wanting to go get a beer and a drink together. That's right. Telling you it's not personal, that it's just business. Once we leave in prison, we leaving the prison shit in prison. We on the streets. I didn't experience that. It ain't never personal, man. It ain't never personal. It's just business. This is what, hey, watch this, man. When you break the law and you know you're going to prison, this is what you're signing up for. Don't think you can go to prison and just do your time. Like you say on your show, yard down. You can be on the yard, man, doing your exercise. They say yard down, you better see what's going on. When that ride go up, it ain't tripping on you being a Crip, being a BGF or a Blood or Kumi. They coming at everything black. So you got to learn how to defend yourself. So it's never personal, it's just business.
And you know, I wanted to ask you a question, right? Because you said something that to me that was pretty profound. You said that sometimes when the Hispanics take off on the blacks, they may have the upper hand for a few minutes due to the element of surprise. Do you feel that? How do you feel that the separation among all the black cars plays a part into sometimes us not doing as well in riots as we could if we were all united?
And that play a major role in them catching us off surprise, off balance, because we don't have enough unity or enough common sense to set our differences to the side and be as one unit. You understand what I'm saying? Because watch this, man. The biggest fear in America is blacks being one unit. The biggest fear in California prisons is the blacks being one unit. That's a fear. Everybody is afraid of that black unity. Some black folks is afraid of that black unity because they might be exposed to being fake. So I understood that one. I understand exactly what you're saying. I hope I answered that the best way.
Most definitely. And had you ever been in a prison or a situation where the blacks did push for more unity among all the black cars?
Say what?
Have you ever been in a prison or in a situation where all the blacks were trying to come together and get more unity amongst the blacks?
Well, when I first went to a level 4, man, although it was different, everybody was part of their own organization, part of certain cars they was in. We still had the hidden agenda was blacks had to have a line of communication with each other and have some form of unity. And we had that. Now, if we wouldn't have knew how to establish unity unity amongst each other, have a united front at a certain point in time when we was doing time on these yards, Hispanics would have smashed us. Like when I first got to Old Folsom, man, Mexicans was hitting Vanguards and BGFs, and the Crips was allowing that. When CCOs got there, we didn't play that shit. No, y'all can't hit nothing black. We gonna bring that funk. It was like George Jackson said, for every one brother get hit or stabbed or killed, 10 of them got to go in. And that's how it is when all of us come together. We forget, man, that gang banging, any form of gang banging is a choice. Being black is not a choice. Being black is not a choice. Being black is not a choice, and that's what we forget in prison. We even forget that on the streets. You got certain hoods beefing with Hispanic hoods. Why you think everybody thought they were smashing people in LA County? Because they was beefing with certain cliques, and other cliques wasn't getting caught up in it because it wasn't their neighborhood that was beefing with them. I went to the county jail on my appeal and got whacked. We was cuffed up. The Crips was cuffed up. The Bloods and the non-affiliated dudes allowed these dudes to come in the tank on us with razor blades and cut on us. They didn't want to help us. I couldn't do that. I can't, watch this, man. I can't see another race in prison, not even on the streets, doing something to a brother. I wouldn't care what he represent, where he from. If he black, I'm going to help him. Deal with me at the outcome. But I'm going to help that brother.
Let me ask you about that situation. So you said that you was cuffed in the holding tank, and you said that you was cuffed in the holding tank in the county jail, and then some Hispanics came in and just started attacking you guys?
Watch this. We're in the holding tank, man. The Mexicans come out their cuff. They tell everybody ain't no Crip, y'all get out the tank, because they already know we Crips, we're in the game, aren't you? You understand what I'm saying? And they came at us. And Bloods let that happen. That didn't take my respect from the Bloods I have respect for, because I know some Bloods that would have been there wouldn't have did that. They'd have stayed down. As soon as the Mexicans would have told them they finna bust on us and we cuffed up, I know some Bloods would have took off on them. But you can't get mad at a person that's so brainwashed and hating what I represent, hating what he, and thinking because he a Blood that he don't supposed to support me when another race come in. That's brainwashed. That ain't even hatred. You being brainwashed. You biting into some bullshit.
So let me ask you, when the Hispanic said everybody that's not Crips get out the tank, did you have some people that left the tank?
Brothers walked out the tank. They walked out the tank. They walked out the tank. I go back to court again. I'm down on my appeal, man. We go back to court again. We on the Compton bus going to court. I get all the Crips out the cuff. Use the stapler to get everybody out, right? Out the cuffs. The Mexicans can't get out their cuffs. Their cuffs is double locked. They can't come up. I walked to a Mexican and whispered in his ear. I did this. I said, we ain't gonna steal y'all, but we finna rob everybody on this motherfucking jail bus that ain't a Crip. Everybody on the bus, we rob. Black, Mexican, everybody. If it wasn't a Crip, you got robbed. Bottom line. Then we took off on the Mexicans. We took off on the Mexicans one time going to Compton court. They had to shut the courthouse down. They canceled court for the day. And them black COs up, them black sheriffs and marshals in Compton court gave us our property. Said, y'all handled y'all business. It's Compton Crip court. We finna do what we got to do.
So, Bam, I'm gonna have to ask you. You got to give me that story, man. So, what happened? So, explain it to me. What happened and what made y'all get down like that? I'm asking what happened and what made y'all go to those measures.
Hey, sometimes you get to the point, man, where you got to take off. Sometimes you got to set a demo down, right? And it was just that time. They came out the cuffs. We came out the cuff. Fuck it, we ready. Let's give it to them. And what the bus drivers didn't know was a whole lot of knives on that bus. When we come out that game, Margie, you coming out that game, Margie, with a knife, man. So when I was going to trial on my highways and I was going to court on my appeal, when I was coming out the game, Margie, I'm going in the Thunderdome where all the gangs said, if you don't get along with your own homies, these Crips come Crips. If you don't get along, you get it on, right? So we get on that bus, man, we just took off. We smashed their ass. That bus made it to Compton Court, then had to go to Martin Luther King Hospital. And it wasn't a whole lot of brothers that was victims. We handled our business. And then black sheriffs and marshals in that courthouse gave us our properties, man. So y'all handled y'all business. You brothers stayed down.
And so it seems like when you guys is on your way to court, you guys and the Hispanics, everybody is basically got makeshift Handcuff Keys. Everybody's coming out
Yeah,
their cup. Huh?
that was the thing, man. When you see them boxes, apple boxes in the county jail, you better grab a staple out of it. That's a cuff key. That can unlock your key. You always supposed to have a cuff key. Whenever you know you're in a harm's way, you got to have a cuff key. That's just like when you first went to prison. I know you tripped on how dudes used to double lock their door, put something in the door for it won't come open. Because the police is known to open the seal. You got to learn how to have security on yourself. If you don't have security, keep usalama, which is security. If you don't keep security on yourself, you're gonna be a victim. I'd rather be the suspect than be the victim.
No, most definitely. And doing things like that, like you said, double locking the cell for a person who hasn't been to prison, it has nothing to do with being scary. It has something to do with recognizing the elements that you're around and respecting the elements. You know, in prison on any given day, you can lose your life, like you say, if you're not aware, you don't have security, you're not paying attention, and you're not respecting for the most importantly, that there's killers around here and people will kill you for whatever reason.
Yeah, but that's a lot of dudes. Watch this, man. Prison has changed. It changed, man. You got these dudes coming in prison now. On the streets, they killers. They come to prison now, they want to fade with somebody. Why you want to fade? You wasn't trying to have a fade on the streets. Just imagine if all the black gang members want to fade. Gang violence don't go down. Don't be a killer on the streets, then you want to come to prison and say you want to fade.
Right.
Pick that knife up. Pick that knife up. See, when I went to prison, you didn't see people getting DP'd on the yard, two people running at somebody, putting hands on it. When I first went to prison, if you broke a law, your ass got stabbed and got off that yard. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you're trying to DP somebody and his homies ain't gonna accept the DP, a melee might happen. But when I first went to prison, it wasn't like that. Me get down like that. Right. Now it's like that. You know what I mean? So you got to accept it what it is, man. You got to accept. I'm trying to check the score of the football game, NBA 16 in life. I'm trying to check the score of this Viking game.
Right. Okay.
You know
no problem.
I mean?
Hey, so look, let me ask you this, right? Have you ever done any time with any white Crips or any more of the more recognizable white Crips?
Hey, watch this. Joe from Bakersfield, old man from Fort Trey. Old man from Fort Trey was in New Folsom. When we told his ass one day, don't run to the yard. When they first opened up New Folsom, they strip us down before we go to the yard. Don't be rolling to the yard by yourself. He go out there one morning by himself and the white boys got on him. So when I first went to prison, white boy Crips and white boys attacked the white boy Crips. Hispanics attacked the Mexican Crips. Did we take off behind that? No. I'm going to keep that 100. Because sometimes the white boy Crip and the Hispanic Crip got to initiate the contact. You initiate the contact, you get support. You understand what I'm saying? Have I ever had a white boy Crip for a celly? No, I would never accept that. I talked to Wack Deuce, one of the homies I met on YouTube, and me and him had a big discussion about that. I don't accept white. I remember when I was in the pen, white boy come to my cell thinking, man, where you going? I'm gonna come in here, cuz you ain't coming in here. You ain't coming in my cell. Go one of your homies, wherever you from, go be they selling. Because this is going to be a problem. I got to pick up an added problem that I don't need. When you come out my cell, the white boys might be at my door to get you. I got to support my selling. I don't put myself in unnecessary harm's way, man.
So
a lot of people don't understand that. The first Mexican I embraced in the pen, that was a Crip with Santana from Fort Trey, a youngster. In Calif, I had love for Santana. That was my little homie. And Santana even said it one day, he said, I'll be hearing you talk, big homie. You would let me be your celly on. Nope. But you can be my homie. You down, but you just can't be my celly.
And so
I'm an old school convict, man.
By Santana being a Hispanic Crip, did the Southsiders accept that? Or were there problems around that?
They don't watch this. For some reason, the Southsiders don't trip on Hispanic Crips no more. They can come to prison now. After all said and done, watch this. After all said and done, white boys don't trip on white boy Crips and Southsiders don't trip on the management, Hispanic Crips. And if they were smashing us, why they ain't tripping on them? Because eventually shit die down and respect come in, right? Because we ain't never tripped on no black dude running with Mexicans. I ain't never tripped on that. I just look like they stupid. And when I see a brother that ran with the Mexicans in the pen, I looked at him as disrespecting his parents. He wasn't just disrespecting us. Yeah, I ain't got no problem with a brother being in an Hispanic gang. I could have been from Largo to Flats to CB3. I chose to be from Front Hood. because gang banging is a choice. Your gang don't choose you, you choose your gang, right? So when I seen that, it wasn't a problem. But I don't like black dudes that join Mexican gangs and come to prison and suddenly you forget you black. You ain't embarrassing me, you're embarrassing your parents. They get so caught up in being in the Mexican gang and being in prison, they get to doing this. What's up, Holmes? They say, hola. They even talk like want to sound like them, then come up and say, I'm a black Mexican. You ain't nothing, you're a brother. But you embarrassing your parents. I look down at that, but we never tripped on them from doing what they trying to do. That's on them.
And that was going to be my next question. Because I had never seen, with all the time that I've done, any of the blacks ever tripping on a black who ran.
No, we never tripped on that. We never tripped on that. Now, some people from the outside looking in, they might say, well, we were scared. Man, watch this, man. But nobody scared of Mexicans in jail. Just like what no Mexicans scared of brothers in jail. Was it people in individual cars scared? Yeah, but pressure busts a pipe. If you're going to lock it up or you're going to stay down for your crown. You understand what I'm saying? And people didn't get that. But I knew a BGF that used to be in a Mexican gang, older than me. But watch this. When he came to prison, he wasn't running with Mexicans. He was in dog patch. He ran with brothers. He turned BGF and was with the business.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem with what gang you roll with. You know, you got whites and Hispanics say they don't do the gay shit in jail. That's bullshit too. They do that shit just as crazy as brothers do it. But they try to throw lugs and shades at us. If they really want to know what's going on in prison, so you got these dudes up north, Hispanic dudes. I ain't trying to create no controversy on your podcast, man.
Now,
I call a ball and strike a strike, right?
Speak your mind.
A lot of these Hispanics up north is dropouts on me. Ain't no Hispanic on YouTube like me, you, Kev Mac, Melly Mel, them that we didn't PC up in prison. Every Hispanic that got a podcast was a PC in prison. Because real Emmy Emmy is not going to get on YouTube. Right. A real Sereno is not going to get on YouTube. Because guess what? That's a part of their thing. They can't do that. That's like they dry snitching when they talk about their culture or whatever. We're not dry snitching. We giving you interviews. We doing interviews with each other. We're not implicating nobody in no crime. But if a person really want to know what's going on, pay attention to who they throw lugs and shade at. They throw lugs and shades at us. They're not talking about themselves. You understand what I'm saying? See, when you first started, you talked about 16 in life. You ain't talking about nobody else. You talked about yourself. You had pride in what your experience was in prison. Gunner collector them don't tell you, oh, I PC'd up. I was a rat in prison. But all you had to do, if they ever do a documentary on S and Y in California Departments of Corrections, you see more whites and Hispanics on the S and Y yard than you see brothers.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And them dudes are they started a gang on the S and Y yard called 2-5. You understand what I'm saying? Why you think they started a gang called 2-5? They want their reparation back from what they went through when they was part of something. But now you get them on these podcasts and they talk that high power shit. But them dudes wasn't nobody, man. Them dudes, I don't respect nobody that PC up in the pen and start snitching, man. I don't subscribe to that. I'm not getting on the platform with that or nothing. Right. You know what I mean? That's just how Bam get in, man.
Right. And I respect that. And let me ask you about some of the more reputable Crips that you've done time with, people who who has Crips who have, well-known names. Like so of course let me ask you, had you ever done any time with Monster Cody? And if not, who were
Monster Cody, my comrade? I was a new folks from Monster Cody, man. Monster Cody, my comrade. What's Monster Cody? A whole lot of Crips and Bloods couldn't write books. He's the first gang member that wrote a book and got it published.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Tabori, Sumo, Muscori, Marcellus, Big Bam, Lil Bam, Sneak from Watergate, Turtle, Petey Wack, numerous other people, OG Cutes, Rockhead. I did time with a whole lot of well-known reputable Crips, man. Did we always see eye to eye? Some of us did. Big BJ, you understand what I'm saying? Tim Cartergate, Cass Seas was in Tracy with me. Pretty Boy Sixes in Tracy. So a lot of Crips that been on podcasts I did time with. Did we cut corners together in the pen? I didn't cut corners with a whole lot of them. Cuse is one of my mentors, like Marcellus. I consider Cuse a big homie. Cuse my homeboy. I got a lot of love for Cuse. You know what I mean? I respect anybody that stayed down in prison, man. I respect anybody. I don't care where you from, whether you was a non-affiliated or not. If you stayed down in prison and I was on the yard with you, I respect you. Pressure bust pipes, man. A lot of brothers didn't break under pressure in the penitentiary. You understand what I'm saying? It'd be more Hispanics PCing up after the ride than brothers. That's what people don't see either.
Right.
Shit, I'm gonna keep it 100. It'd be more of them cutting corners. You know, when they drop a kite, watch this, man. You ever been to a pen and when a Mexican drop a kite and roll it up, only cell they find contraband in is his brother's cells? And I ain't talking about knives, I'm talking about phone and the dope. Because whoever they know got the dope in the phone, guess who they telling the police where it's at? That's why when I had phones in the phone, I would never let a Mexican, if I let you use my phone, you better bring me my phone or send it through a brother. Don't send it through no Hispanic dude, because I know what he gonna do if he get roll it up. He finna tell who got a phone. So only every time I see an Hispanic roll it up and the goon squad coming in and get to searching, they only searching brother cells. Make it look good searching a few Mexican cells, but they only bringing the contraband out the brother cell because Hispanic knew where the contraband was at. And people don't catch up to that. Now, I ain't calling all of them rats, but I'm calling a ball, and strike, excuse me, man.
And no, I think that's a good point that you mentioned, man, because a lot of times I'll get in a lot of my comments where they appreciate what I do because they're here in prison from a black perspective. And a lot of times when you get prison from a perspective of a Hispanic or a white, of course, you know, we all have it to where we see our people as the best. And then sometimes you have individuals who have racial agendas against other races. And so their content is going to be affected by their racial bias. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, without a doubt. Watch this. Racism is a cold piece, man. But racism comes from within the household. It don't come from prison.
Right.
So my parents ain't never taught me to hate nobody based on the color of their skin. Racism comes from within the household. It don't come, you go to prison and suddenly you hate all Mexicans and white people. Nah. I'm prejudiced against police. I don't care what color the police is. Then that's the only thing I'm prejudiced against. Police, black, white, purple, I don't care what color he is. But when another race hate a brother, a black man, or a black woman, it's because his parents, they taught them that inside of their household. Prison don't teach you to hate another race, man. Because it ain't personal. It's only business.
I definitely agree with that, man. You know, I've spoke on that many times. Just like, you know, if I get into it with a blood, you know, I've come to realize by doing time, there's a whole lot of solid bloods. I've made good friendships with a lot of bloods. So it's not that I'm gonna be prejudiced against bloods. It's like you said, it's what we sign up for, man. So when you get into it, I told a story about how in the county jail, some Southsiders caught me slipping and beat me up, or excuse me, at the visiting. And I never took that personal against all Hispanics because it's just part of that lifestyle, you know. Sometimes your enemies catch you slipping. Sometimes your enemy's gonna be black. Sometimes they might be Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's part of what we signed up for, man. Most definitely. And let me ask you one last question, man, and I can let you get on up out of here, man.
All right, brother.
I know I didn't had you on here for a while. When you first came to prison back in the 80s, they still had the weights. Who are some of the biggest Crips in size that you've seen?
Shit, James Miller, Michael Stone. The biggest Crip I was on the yard with was Big Hog from 107 Hoover, man.
And about how big would you say he was?
Hog had size like Chucky, homie. Hog had Big Buster had size from the east side, Big Speedy. Havron had size. Havron was more cut than anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? But one of the biggest Crips I was on the yard with was Big Hog from 107 Hoover.
About how much would you say he was benching? Do you have any idea?
I used to be in the weight part with the Hog, man, so I didn't pay attention to what he was benching, but listen to me. Hog had like a Motor 1.
Uh-huh.
A Bow 1. He was on swole. To me.
So for those who might not know, he said he had 21-inch arms. And so what about you? Did you ever get into the weightlifting and stuff yourself?
Huh?
I said, and what about you? Did you ever get into weightlifting yourself?
I used to buff on in the pen, so I found out a lot of people buff on to keep the cheat off themselves. Shit, you ain't have to be big to keep the cheat off yourself. Shit, being big make a motherfucker want to come get you.
Right.
I found out I can build this better than I can build a muscle.
Right.
Mentally, I got up to like 16.5-inch arm or 17-inch arm.
One last question: What was some of the books that you read in there? Some of the favorite books that you would read?
I read a whole lot of black literature, man. The first black literature I read was Malcolm X and Solidarity Brothers by George Jackson. I love Spook Behind the Door, Wilson Carter, I think. Black Mass, Whiteface, Black Mass. I read Machiavelli, The Art of War. I read a whole lot of literature, man. My cousin went to UC Santa Barbara, so she used to photocopy it. She went to school in Black history. So she used to photocopy books for me and send them to me through the mail. And that was okay. You know, dudes exchanged books in the pen. Only book I liked about George Jackson was Solidarity Brothers. I read Blood in My Eye, but I didn't like it. Right. Cut Away from San Bernardino gave me that book. Gave it to me. But I didn't like it. I interviewed a dude on my show the other day. He said, "Man, wouldn't give me his literature." No, I can't get my literature. I didn't share my literature with any and everybody. I need to share my literature with a person that's going to return my literature back to me.
I definitely appreciate you, man, for tapping in with my show. Before we go, man, let them know where they can find you at on YouTube.
OG Bam, man. OG Bam, Compton Front Hood, man. Y'all tap in, man. I send shouts out to 16 to Life now. After I opened it up with Kev Mac the Hood posting gangster and cartoon, 16 to Life name is mentioned. So y'all hit that like and subscribe button, man. Support the channel. I do raffles a lot on my show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all definitely be sure to hit that YouTube. Check his channel out. OG Bam from Front Hood Compton. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Resume normal program.
The crackers let me out the gate, now the pressure's on. We about to get this shit straight like a pressing comb. The wrong cat to get aggressive on. I bring the bitch up out of niggas while you think they got them dresses on. My reach long and that's the best type. To have some dirty white boys come and smoke you like a meth pipe. And leave your chest bright red like a fire truck. Kicking your mom's door at night, nigga, and tie her up. I'm wild as fuck and I'm respected by the new youth. I put this pistol in their ear like a Bluetooth. I blow their brains on their new coupe. And have red everywhere just like a function full of soup whoops. Tell your troops I deal with beef like a butcher. My 4-5 pump more guys than Ashton Kutcher. Line pusher, quick to bury your clown. Nigga, I stayed in the park like the merry-go-round. Get it?
That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. Oh, you niggas don't know my name. That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. I'm out here doing my thing. That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. I swear in my own lane. That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me.